That driver in your golf bag at the minute is probably your biggest distance thief. Most golfers watching this video are working far too hard. They're working against their equipment. And when it comes to correcting their equipment and working out what loft is best for your driver, the truth is often the opposite to what lots of golfers believe. In this video, I'm going to show you what loft driver might work best for you, subject to how fast or slow you're swinging your current driver. These adjustments for some golfers can unlock up to 20 yards of extra distance on their tee shots. No swinging faster, no working harder, working with your equipment, working more sensibly. And the actual fix to fixing your loft, when I tell golfers this and show them, blows their minds, because as I said before, it's often the opposite to what they believe. I've done this test with amateur golfers over years, and so often the extra yards are there. They're in their swing, they're ready to go. They just need to know how to unlock them with the right driver. Let's show you some data that's going to open your mind. So let's start with the baseline, a 90-mile-an-hour clubhead speed. This is a very common speed amongst male golfers, and one of the areas where these golfers are losing the most distance. Now, with all the numbers I'm going to show you, we're dealing with a zero attack angle. So the club is basically moving parallel to the ground as it hits the ball. It's not traveling up and it's not traveling down. I will get to the importance of that near the end of the video. Now, if you're swinging at 90 miles an hour and you're using a 9-degree driver, you're only going to see about 212 yards of total distance, where if you change that loft up to a 12-degree head, that number instantly jumps to 2, 3, 5, everything else being equal. That's 23 yards of free distance just waiting for you to accept. And the reason for this is simple. At 90 miles an hour, you're just not creating enough speed to keep that ball up in the air. So you've only got the launch angle, subject to where you strike the ball on the face and the loft of that club, to help you launch it, because your attack angle is at 0. Now, before you hit the comments up, I know attack angle is going to change this as well, and we are going to cover that as the video goes on. But just as a baseline guide, if you're swinging in the 90 mile an hour region and using 9-degree drivers, unless you are delivering crazy different lofts, which again we're going to cover in a tip in a second, you are just giving distance away, and that's the last thing I want to see you do. So one of these drivers is set at 12 loft and one of them is set at 9 and just below. And this is the bit for so many golfers that's very counterintuitive. The idea that you go lower loft just pushes the ball further and further and further. But if you haven't got those speeds, that isn't true. And what it also encourages is quite often some pretty poor moves. So if I try and swing at 90 miles an hour here, my angle of attack won't be quite there. I'm sure it'll be up, but let's try and get at around 90 miles an hour. So pretty good. Club head speed 88, 2 mile an hour away from that 90 mile an hour mark we're talking about. Now, my dynamic loft on that club was presented at 10 degrees. It's just not enough. The ball is launching at 9 degrees. It's too low. So what I'm going to start doing now is maybe push the ball forwards, lean the handle back, often try and maybe flick the club forwards and hit across. So I'm going to try and swing 90 mile an hour but get some launch and spin. There's the ball curving back towards target, so it's a very functional shot. I've done quite well. 87 miles an hour, 15 launch angle now, 3-6 spin. It's going a little bit further as well. That ball's gone further, but I had to brutalise. Club path, dynamic loft. I had to find the 18 degrees in my swing. So the loft on my club, if it's not matched to my speed, is encouraging me to make more extreme swing-based movements. Use this as a friend. Having more loft might encourage you to hit at some better angles, get some straighter, less curved shots. Less curving shots will help it go further. I must have swung that one faster. Yeah, so 95 miles an hour I swung faster, but look at the launch angle, 15 degrees. Look at the dynamic loft, 17 degrees. With drivers, you're adding loft as a rule of thumb. All the best players do. If I hit an 8-degree driver, I'm not hitting 7 or 8 degrees of loft on that club. I'm hitting like 10s and 12s. But if you start too low, you're having to add too much, which is for many golfers just brutalizing their swing and encouraging them to hit more curve and get the ball in a lot of trouble. So look at that, 85 miles an hour. It's one of my longest carries apart from the one where I swung faster. A lot of green appearing on the board. That loft's encouraging me to make a better swing, get more from my driver. It's your friend. Don't get this the wrong way round. Now let's move down to the senior golfer, the 80 mile an hour golfer, maybe juniors, adults who don't swing as fast, and seniors. This is now where loft is just a must. A 9-degree driver swinging at 80 miles an hour is a disaster. I mean, that's going to go 160 yards. But look at the jump if you move up to a 14-degree driver. Yes, 14 degrees. 205 yards. I mean, it's just free yardage on the table. So many golfers are just relying on hoping they get loads of run out. These lofts will also give you roll out as well, but what they're going to do is going to max your carry and your ball flight to give you good carry and roll out. If you're only relying on roll out, if you miss the fairway, you're in trouble. If it's wet, you're in trouble. If you have to carry anything, you are in trouble. Now, if you're swinging down at 80 miles an hour, but you feel like you should be swinging faster, here's some basic tips to try and help you just try and move that speed up a little bit, and then in turn, maybe change your loft to adapt to it. So I get it, down at 80 miles an hour can be frustrating. So a couple of things you can do to try and get your speeds out a little bit more efficiently. One of the most common speed kind of thieves that we see in the driver is golfers moving their hand speed, so from around waist height through the ball, the hand speed stays at a consistent speed. Doesn't pick up speed, doesn't drop speed particularly. And what we see from stronger players is their hand speed peaks in a downswing around kind of tummy button height, and then their hands slow down, which allows them to get the energy out to the club. What you can do is you can hit a few shots where you really try and feel like you go as fast as you can out of the downswing with your hands. So it'll look something like this. So really pull down fast with your downswing, get your body, get your arms, everything pulling down on that club and trying to stop it where your hands are around level with your right leg. What this will do is train you to get more comfortable going out of those blocks a bit quicker on that downswing, and by getting that speed to peak here, your hands will naturally slow from this bit into the ball, and then you might find you get that speed out onto the club. The second speed trick you can do if you're trying to just tease that 80 mile an hour clubhead speed up a little bit higher is try and act a bigger shoulder turn on your backswing. So try and feel like you get your shoulders just rotating through their normal position a little bit further than they do. To do this, you might find you want to try and get your left shoulder to really come over and cover right foot on the backswing. Not only does that allow for good shoulder turn, it will put good tilts in there as well, which might give you a better chance of a bit stretch on the backswing. Now, don't be afraid to do that. If you have to release the left foot, let that foot come up a little bit. That's absolutely fine. A little bit of movement in your ankle on that left foot is only going to help with a little bit more speed. You put those two together, big turns, fast out the blocks on the way down, your 82 miles an hour might sneak up to 83 miles an hour. That will add up to more distance. And if we move up to those faster swingers, let's go 100 mile an hour clubhead speed. We're now looking at 268 yards with a 10.5 driver. If they go up to 12 degrees of loft, they're dropping down in yards, but you see they're not dropping as much. And if they move to a 9-degree driver, they can still get around 255. So they're not dropping quite as much. They can use a wider range, but they definitely have an optimum if you use these baseline numbers. And then obviously when we move up to 110 mile an hour, so fast swinging golfers, we're getting pros and onwards, we can start moving down into 9 degrees and possibly lower. The general pattern that I see is that better players often have drivers that are better fit for them. Their understanding of loft to their speed is more in tune, where those slower speed golfers is often where we find those big gaps, and there's big gaps that can be found there. You can see that from the data. Using the wrong loft has a huge effect on the potential distance they could get. But look, what if I could tell you, you could keep the loft driver you've got and still gain that 20 yards. These tips here are going to explain to you that we're talking about loft, at static loft that you should use on a club when you look at the bottom, but there's dynamic loft, there's loft at impact, and also what influences that and how that works is going to be your angle of attack, how that club is efficiently or not hitting that ball. Let's give you some ideas to build more distance in with the driver that you might already have. So for the purpose of this video, we've been talking about zero attack angle, but changing attack angle. So if that club is hitting up, hitting down, or hitting level is a really quick and easy way to just find extra launch, extra loft, different spins, and gain some distance. Really simple game I want you to play next time you're out practicing. Get your driver, do a couple of practice swings where you feel like you get your club to the ground early. So get your club down near the ground. See how the head of my club is down near the ground? When your hands are opposite, trail 5. So really feel like you throw that club down. So you're actually kind of going this way with your hands is the feeling. If I hit a shot like this, and we'll look at my attack angle. So my attack angle there, 3.9 up. So my club would pass nearly 4 degrees up. I'm now going to make a swing where I feel like I keep the club in the air when my hands get down opposite right thigh. So I'm going to feel like I'm really trying to hold these angles, keep that club up and back. I'll hit a drive. You can see how much lower that's going. So that attack angle now is nearly 5 degrees down. That club is passing down. Now, if you're a golfer who hits too far up at it, you might want more of that feeling. If you're a golfer that doesn't hit up at it enough, you hit too far down at it, you want the first feeling. Both of these feelings and somewhere in between is where you're going to find your optimum. And for lots of you, getting between 2 to 4 degrees up with your driver is going to give you the best spin, best launch, and that extra distance you're all after. Now, before you all say, that's casting, isn't it? No, it's not. You have to get those angles out to get the club down on the ground. How early or late you get them will just influence your angle of attack. Now, if you want to improve your setup, your grip, and find the right grip for you to help all this work, this video is going to help you with that. Remember to subscribe as well if you're not already subscribed and you want more free videos.